It ain't what you don't know that gets you into trouble. It's what you know for sure that just ain't so. What is your most cherished belief? Are you 100% confident in the truth of that belief? Or are you merely pretty confident that that belief is true? In this episode, I'll use John Locke's essay concerning human understanding to give us a framework for sharing the difference between what we truly know and what we merely believe on the basis of probability. Let's get into it. Locke puts the distinction between knowledge and judgment very clearly. He writes, "The mind has two faculties conversant about truth and falsehood. First, knowledge, whereby it certainly perceives and is undoubtedly satisfied of the agreement or disagreement of any ideas. Secondly, judgment, which is the putting ideas together or separating them from one another in the mind, when their certain agreement or disagreement is not perceived but presumed to be so." So whenever we have a belief, Locke says that it is either knowledge, which means it is undoubtedly true, or it is judgment, which means we think it is probably true based on evidence, but we don't have certainty. That begs an important question. What can we actually be certain about? Locke argues that certainty only comes in two forms. The first is intuitive knowledge, where the mind sees something to be true immediately. For example, white is not black, a circle is not a square, things that are extremely basic that even the smallest, dumbest child would agree with. The second is demonstrative knowledge, where we arrive at certainty by a chain of reasoning built from intuitive truths. Mathematics is the clearest example. 2 plus 2 equals 4, 4 plus 4 equals 8, and so forth. We can also logically demonstrate truth with words. If you know a promise is an agreement to do something, and I explicitly promise to meet you, but then I do not meet you, I broke my promise. Locke even provides a logical demonstration for the existence of God. He takes the intuitive truth that something exists and the equally intuitive truth that something cannot come from nothing, and he argues that it follows by demonstration that there must be an eternal first cause of all things. But outside of intuitive and demonstrative knowledge, Locke says our certainty is very thin. Everything else we believe rests not on proof, but on probability. As he puts it, our knowledge being short, we want something else, and the faculty which God has given man to supply the want of clear and certain knowledge is judgment. Judgment is how we navigate the world when proof is unavailable. Think about something simple like driving to work in the morning. We believe our car will start when we turn the key. We believe pressing the gas pedal will move it forward and pressing the brake will make it stop. But none of this is certain. We believe it only because past experience makes it highly likely. Religion is the same. As I just mentioned, Locke believed that God's existence could be demonstrated, but nearly everything else in religion, like biblical miracles and the story of Jesus, rests on testimony and historical reports. We may have strong reasons to believe them, but we cannot have certainty in the same way we do in mathematics. Relationships are another example. When we trust someone, we're predicting their future behavior based on their past actions. When betrayal happens, it feels shocking not because it was impossible, but because it's a break in the pattern we previously observed. The same is true of investing in the stock market and any other forward-looking prediction we make about the future. We can never have true certainty of what will happen, but can only estimate how likely different outcomes are. And really, practically all of our decisions and beliefs in everyday life are judgments, not true knowledge. Locke writes that man would be at a great loss if he had nothing to direct him but what has the certainty of true knowledge. For that being very short and scanty, he would be often utterly in the dark, and in most of the actions of his life perfectly at a stand, had he nothing to guide him in the absence of clear and certain knowledge. He that will not eat till he has demonstration that it will nourish him, he that will not stir till he infallibly knows the business he goes about will succeed, will have little else to do but to sit still and perish. To recap, what guides us in nearly all of our decisions is judgment, not true knowledge. This may sound like a pedantic distinction, but it mattered deeply to Locke. In his time, religious battles and political fanaticism were leading to civil wars, often over metaphysical questions far beyond what human reason can settle, with each side claiming absolute certainty. It is not hard to see a parallel with the political polarization we live with today. When people become convinced that their beliefs are not just right, but unquestionably certain, disagreement turns into hostility. The same pattern can show up in our personal relationships as well. But once we learn to distinguish between knowledge and judgment, we become more aware of what we don't know for certain. And that humility makes room for more open-minded discussion and working together towards outcomes with the highest probability of success. As always, I love to hear your thoughts in the comments, and subscribe to follow along to keep learning philosophy with me. And I hope to see you in the next episode.